appearances for the record.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amy Rines on behalf of the people.
James Thomas for the defendant.
I don't know, Johnny, on behalf of Mr. Radcliffe, Your Honor.
All right. And we will continue on with the prelim. Are you ready to call your next witness?
Your Honor, prior to calling the next witness, we just want to bring to the court's attention that it was brought to our attention that after the witnesses from this earlier today testified, they joined the room with the live stream. So we had asked for the witnesses to be sequestered. We didn't say we weren't going to potentially recall any of those witnesses, and if any new information came out and it was brought to our attention, they joined into courtroom B.
And that's correct. The witnesses were excused.
They were.
So I told them that they were finished testifying and they could watch the testimony.
And so what is defense's objection?
Our understanding was that the court had asked them to all the alleged victims, the witnesses, to be separated from each other, to be.
I did not order that. There were, in fact, I specifically did not. I told you in chambers that was an impossibility, and on the record said that, and specifically indicated that I would be issuing my standard sequestration order, indicating that they should not, those that have testified should not be talking to anybody that has not yet testified.
That is correct.
So if I had ordered that they all be separate, there would have been no reason for me to say that second part.
That is correct. But my understanding is that they were in the room with other family members of other alleged victims that were going to testify later today. And that's one of our concerns, is that they're sharing a space. These people already, as came out today, have a lot of connection with each other.
So are you saying that somehow or another their testimony is going to be tainted? Because if you're making that call, you better be ready to back it up, or you better back down from it. One of the two right now, because otherwise I will hold an evidentiary hearing regarding each witness coming up here, and you better be able to substantiate it. So before something else comes out of your mouth, let me know which way you want it.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was making the court aware of the fact that information was brought to our attention. We were under the impression that the court's order was that these witnesses would not communicate with each other in the sense of the testimony. All we're making clear on the record is that these witnesses joined a room full of other family, other members, families, and that's all we're making.
And they were excused. So had we not had that room, had they just been out in the hallway, they would have been out there amongst them anyway. After they're excused, I cannot and do not control them except for the confines of my order, the sequestration order, which tells them not to talk to anybody that has not yet testified.
And all we want to make the court is aware that they were in a room with other family members and those who have not yet testified.
And that means absolutely nothing to the court without more counsel. So I'm done with it.
Thank you.
Well, Your Honor, I would like to speak to the record because counsel is representing that something improper was going on. When from the beginning, I advised the court and counsel that there are approximately 30 people, 8 of them victims to testify. They're all being held in the jury room. I, as an officer of the court, told them not to discuss their testimony with one another. So
okay, go ahead.
They were all in the room together to be kept away from the defendant's family in the hallway, intimidating them. So yes, they are in a room together. The victims are in a room together with family members. They're in a very large jury room together, and they have been since this morning. They have all been instructed not to discuss their testimony.
All right, so we can just put an end to this. Ms. Reiser, as an officer of the court, I'm going to take a brief recess. Can you go down there? I think a couple of the witnesses have walked back in. Can you ask them as to whether or not they had any conversations with anybody who is expected to testify that has not yet testified? And counsel, if you brought that to my attention and you've wasted this court's time, you better hope they say something. Court's in recess.
All rise. All rise. The 14A District Court for County of Washington, State of Michigan is now back in session. The Honorable Judge Cedric Simpson presiding.
Maybe see.
And I did,
Hang on, we have to wait for the.
oh, okay, got it.
We're back on the record in the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Radcliffe. Counsel and defendant are present. Mr. Reiser.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did speak with two of the three witnesses who have testified, the victims. Isaiah and Max are still in the courthouse, but as you are aware, they have been excused. Noah is excused and has left the courthouse. Isaiah and Max assured me that they have not spoken to anyone about their testimony. They've got support from the parents that were in there. But they have not spoken about their testimony, and they are excused, so I did tell them they are free to come back into the courtroom to watch the remaining.
Absolutely are. And just so that the record is also clear, because I went back and was reminded of what was said so that we don't have an obfuscation of what has occurred today and what this court has done. There are three separate rooms that parts of this proceeding are going on to based upon the court's initial order closing the courtroom, and then a partial closure, and then a place to put the witnesses and their support personnel. Those are three separate distinct areas. So that the record is clear, this is courtroom C. Proceedings have been conducted in my courtroom all day for all of the witnesses in the preliminary examination. In courtroom B, for the first witness, courtroom B was not open, could not be accessed by anyone. And the proceedings that were going on in here were sent nowhere. For the second and third witnesses, which was the partial closure, which the court had ruled on this morning, those individuals, that courtroom opened for the testimony of those witnesses. So while the courtroom itself was closed, except to two support people or a support person for the witness and for the defendant, being fair to the defendant, where he had the two people in the courtroom B, so that the press and others could see what was going on consistent with case law. That courtroom was open. These proceedings were broadcast into that courtroom. The jury assembly room, which there has been no broadcast to all day and has been absolutely segregated from any part of these proceedings, is where the witnesses and the support personnel, both from, I believe, victims advocates from the county prosecutor as well as MSP, have been sitting all day. So to the extent defense counsel has made any representation otherwise, it is not true. And in fact, the very fact that they went into courtroom B after their testimony, they could not have commingled with any of the witnesses yet to testify because they're all down all the way at the other end of the building in the jury assembly room. So next time you want to make an accusation, next time you want to make the court follow it, back it up. Otherwise, just be quiet. Call your next witness.
So people would call Christopher.
Break. Mr. Margolis, when she arrives, let the court know.
Of course.
Thank you. I don't expect that he'll be brought up from downstairs till about 5, though, based on her timing of everything. So.
So I'll just learn from the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. State and spell your first name only for the record.
Christopher, CHRISGHT.
May I inquire?
Thank you. Christopher, my name is Amy Reiser, and we spoke on the phone earlier last week and met in person this morning. I'm the assistant prosecutor handling this case, and I'll be asking you a few questions about your relationship and interactions with Zach Radcliffe today, okay? And if there's anything that you don't understand, maybe if my voice trails off or I ask a confusing question, just ask me to repeat the question and I can repeat it for you, okay? There is also a microphone that's in front of you, and that won't necessarily amplify your voice, but it is making a recording of the proceedings. And I think sometimes we get nervous, so we might shake our head yes or no. And so just if you could remember to give us a verbal yes or no for that recording, okay? And if you need to take a break at any time, let us know, and you can do that too. When I'm done asking you questions, the defense attorney will have a series of questions for you as well, and the same rules apply, okay? Can you tell us what your date of birth is?
December 20th, 2001,
And so how old are you today?
23.
And I want to talk about, do you live in Michigan right now?
No,
What state do you live in?
Alabama,
And how long have you lived there?
5 years.
Okay. I want to talk about your time at the Oakwood Baptist Church in Saline, Michigan, Washtenaw County. Do you recall that? And how long were you a member there? Approximately.
10 to 15 years.
Okay. What's your earliest memory of going to the church?
Probably being in the Awanas program.
Okay. And what is that?
It's kind of like a program that helps you learn about what happened in the Bible, and so you read verses and stuff from the Bible to get like your badges and stuff like that. You engage in everything.
Okay. And who did you go to church with?
My mom.
Okay. And did you have any siblings?
Yes, ma'am. I have 5 sisters and
Are they all older, younger, or?
they're all young.
Okay. And dad, did you have a dad when you were growing up?
Not much.
Okay.
He was in the military, so he was out of state.
Okay. So you'd go with your mom and your siblings? Okay. And do you know the defendant in this case, Zachary Radcliffe? And could you tell Judge Simpson where he's seated and a color of clothing that he's wearing?
Next to the defense on the left side, wearing the jumpsuit.
Okay, the record could reflect he's identified the defendant.
That objection record shall so reflect.
And when you were in the church, what was the defendant's role at the church?
He's the worship leader.
And did you develop a relationship with him?
I did.
And tell me what you remember, how that began.
I had a lot of issues growing up with my mom. We fight a lot and argue, and he was kind of started being there for me and to talk to me when stuff was going on between us.
Like a big brother?
Yes, ma'am, like we could.
And did you share with him problems you were having with your mom? Yes, okay. And did you ever do anything with him outside of the church? What would you do?
Go out to eat, go to the mall, watch movies.
And would he pay for you to go to the movies or go out to eat? And what about when you went to the mall?
He paid for everything.
What would he buy you anything? What would he buy you?
Shoes, clothes, whatever really I would look at.
Did you trust him? And would you go to his home? And where was his home?
Off of Bemis Road in Swain.
And when would you go there?
Every weekend, sometimes during the week,
Okay.
frequently.
And at some point, did something change in your relationship? Okay, what happened?
Um, so we were just doing what we normally did. We'd go to the mall, go out to eat. And there was one day when he asked if I wanted to make a bet with him. And he would tell me if the bet was that if I finished my food when we went out to eat, he would tie me something. And if I didn't, that I would have to suck his penis.
And what did you think when he first said that?
I thought it was a joke, like just guys joking around, making jokes like that.
Do you remember how old you were or what grade you were in when that conversation started happening?
12, 13.
Do you remember what grade you were in? And he said that at the mall, then what happened?
The day went on like normal. We went out to eat, and he bought me a pair of shoes or clothes. I can't exactly recall. And then he got me off back at home.
Okay. And then what happened the next time you saw him?
We were at his house, and we were taking a nap just like we normally would. And he told me that it was time for me to uphold my end of the bed.
And how did you respond?
I was kind of shocked. And I still thought he was kind of joking.
And what happened next?
And he pulled his penis out and proceeded to tell me that I needed to uphold my end of the bed.
And where was he at? Okay. Was the door open or closed? Okay. And did you say anything?
Not really. I just was shocked still.
Okay. And then what happened?
I proceeded to suck his penis.
Okay. And did he say anything while you were sucking his penis?
He would just make noises, telling me that it felt good.
Okay. And then what happened?
Then when he got close, I pulled his penis out of my mouth and kept going until he ejaculated.
And you kept going with,
My hand.
okay, on his penis? Okay. And what did he say when you were done? Remember if he said anything? And how were you feeling like that after the first time it happened?
After the first time, I was still kind of in shock. I didn't really know what to think of it.
Okay. And did you stay there that night or did you go home? And did it happen again? What do you remember about the next time?
It was kind of just the same scenario. Another bed had been made. I didn't finish eating my food. So I had to uphold the bed again.
Okay. And did it always happen in his bedroom? And how long did this go on for?
Year or two.
And how many times, when you say you sucked his penis, did you put your mouth on his penis? How many times did that happen?
Sometimes more than 15.
Did you ever tell anyone about it? Why not?
It just felt normal, like it was something that we did. He was my big brother, so like it was just something that was normal to us.
Okay. He made it feel normal? Did he ever perform any sexual acts on you? And tell me about that.
Um, it was kind of the same scenario, another bed, but I won it. And
You finished your food or whatever the bet was? Okay.
had to uphold his end of the bed.
So he lost the bet. Okay. And so what did he tell you to do?
Take my pants off. And
Did you do that? Okay. And what did he do?
then he started sucking on me.
Do you remember how old you were when it stopped?
15, 16.
And you would have turned 13 in December of 2014. Is that correct? Okay. And that was when you were in 8th grade? Okay. Did it occur before your 13th birthday? Do you remember how many times it occurred before your 13th birthday? More than 3? Yes. Would he kind of pressure you into doing it or make you feel bad, or what would he say?
Yeah, he would, if I didn't want to uphold the bed as I got older, he would kind of make me, the way he would word things was that, like, he was my big brother and he was always going to be there for me, so I just needed to do this for him, even if I don't want to.
Did he ever cry and say what?
That I was breaking his heart and I wasn't gonna do this for him.
Did he ever ask you to make any videos? And do you remember when that was?
After I moved down to Alabama and I graduated high school,
Okay. And what did he say to you?
he told me that there was this group of Japanese people that he would send videos of him ejaculating and jerking off to, and that they sent him money. So if I wanted to make some money, that I could do that too.
And did you?
Yes.
And where did you send the videos?
On Snapchat.
Okay. Did he give you an address to send it to?
No.
To the defendant's Snapchat? And how old were you when you did that? Do you recall? Okay. Did you ever continue contact with him?
Periods of time, yes,
Okay. And would you reconnect with him or he would reconnect with you or something else?
he was just continuously reaching out to me, trying to get me to talk to him again,
And how'd that make you feel?
kind of pressured into it.
Okay. Did you eventually stop communicating with them and stop making the videos?
Yes, ma'am, the videos, yes, but communicating with him, we still communicate every once in a while.
Okay. How do you feel about this now? How has this affected you?
And like I said, it makes me heartbroken as well. It sucks that it took me this long to realize that this was something that was wrong. That it's not just something that everybody does.
Did you ever tell your parents or tell your mom? Well, thank you for sharing with us today. I don't have any other questions for you. The defense attorney may have questions. Are you doing okay or do you need to take a break?
Before you begin cross-examination, young man, you said it happened about 15 times.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Cross-examination,
Yes, sir. Judge, can we approach real quick?
for what reason?
Because I have to ask you a question regarding the question I want to ask. Yes, sir. So do you know what the age gap is between yourself and Zach? You think it's 6 or 7 years? So when you were 12 years old, you think he was 19?
Yes.
And you said that you've known him since how old were you?
8,
About 8?
7, yes.
Okay. And when you knew him when you were 8 years old, what was he doing at the church?
Worship leader.
So you're saying at 15 years old, he was a worship leader? Or 14? When you were 8?
I don't know.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime of untruthfulness?
No, sir.
Were you convicted of a burglary in Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was that based on you being in somebody's house taking something?
I don't know.
But it's a felony.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to draw your attention to what you were previously testifying. So you said that you've engaged in some type of sexual relations with Zach approximately 15 times at his house. Never anywhere else but at his house, correct?
Yes, sir.
And for those 15 times that you were at his house, there was never anybody there but Zach?
No, his parents were usually there.
Okay, so while his parents were there, you would go back in his room?
It was in the basement, yes, sir.
In the basement. All right. Now, does the basement have a locked door?
I
You-
don't know.
Can you describe the basement?
Not the details, no, sir. I just know you went down the stairs and to the right.
All right. Does his bedroom have a lock or door lock on it? What size is his bed in there? Do you recall Michael Sizemore living in the same room with him?
Yes.
Do you know Michael Sizemore?
Yes.
And was he ever there? What else is in the basement? Is there a living room in the basement?
There was a living room and a TV.
Is there a bathroom in the basement? All right. When you would meet up with Zach, where were you at? Like, where would you meet at before you would go back to his house? Well, obviously, if you were meeting up with Zach, you were meeting him somewhere to end up back at his house. So where were you meeting at?
Either church or anything.
All right, so he was actually picking you up from your house, your residence? And how far did you live from Zach's house?
15 minutes.
How far did you live from the church? How did you get to the church?
My mom and dad.
All right, and then drop you off at the church by yourself?
She would come to church with me.
All right, and then after church, you're 12, 13 years old, she would allow you to go with Zach
Yes.
from the church.
Yes.
So you would go on just Sundays that you would go to church, or was there other days that you would go?
Wednesdays as well.
All right, so what time on Wednesdays would you go?
I remember it was in the evening.
School night?
Yes.
And so on Wednesday nights, you would go to Zach's house also?
Sometimes, yes, sir.
And on the Wednesday nights that you would go to Zach's house, you were engaging in relations with him?
I can't remember that.
So the only times that you recall are on Sundays? Or do you recall Wednesdays also?
The days all kind of blended together. Really know exactly the days.
When you were alleging that these things were occurring when you're 13 years old, had you reached puberty yourself? Did you know what an orgasm was?
Yes.
All right, so you knew what an orgasm was.
Yes.
And during this interaction that you were having with Zach, you knew to pull away from Zach?
Yes.
And you're saying that you were 12 or 13 years old at the time,
Yes.
but you don't recall what year.
You were called
What year was it?
2014.
2014. What do you recall about Zach when you said did you ever pull his pants down, or did he always pull his own pants down?
It was blue.
And when you engaged, it was always him pulling his pants down. Was he standing up, sitting down, and then he pulls his pants down? And then how would you approach him? Would you?
Be lying on the bed with him.
Okay, so you were laying on the bed.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And while you're laying on the bed, you put your head into his crotch area, like from the bottom, from his feet.
I don't understand the question.
Well, did you engage from the bottom, from his feet, or like from the side? And you did that every time.
Yes.
Do you know if he is circumcised or not?
He is not. I mean, he is, my bad. He is circumcised.
What is it? He's circumcised or not?
He's circumcised.
And you said this started approximately in 2014, correct?
Yes.
You know about what month? And you said that it went till when? 2000 what? 16? You said approximately 2 years. So
Yeah. 2016.
how old were you in 2016?
15.
Turning 16 at the end of the year?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever tell anybody that you had these experiences with Zach?
No.
Not one soul.
No.
Do you have a best friend?
I did.
Who's your best friend?
Tom was that.
Okay, what about, who else did you have as best friends?
I had a couple of friends that I play sports with.
Did you ever talk to them? How did you get wind that something like this was going on here? Who called you or who let you know?
Thank you.
Zach called you? And when would that have been?
Right before he went to Virginia.
And was he somebody that you've talked to in the last 5 years since you moved to Alabama?
Yes.
How many times have you talked to him?
Up to 20 times. Sometimes a couple of times a week.
Up till when?
Everything that happened. The university.
So you talked to him all the way up until October?
Probably until September. Okay.
Did you talk to anybody else? Do you know any of the other people that are involved in this particular case? Do you know, I'll just give you their names. Do you know Devin?
I know them. I haven't talked to any of them today.
Any of them? Because they're all a lot younger than you?
I live in Alabama.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying you don't know them because they're younger than you?
I know them.
All right, so do you know Weston?
I do, yes.
How do you know Weston?
He's related to these twins I grew up with.
Okay. Who are the twins that you grew up with?
I have to state the names.
Well, I mean, if that's how you know them, just say their first names.
Okay, Dylan and Nathan.
Okay. What about Max? Max?
I know.
About Noah? When you did your interview with law enforcement, the trooper that's sitting here in the courtroom, did you tell him that you also engaged or he also engaged in having fellatio? I'm going to use that word. You know what fellatio is, right?
I do not.
It's proper. It's a more proper word for, putting your mouth on his penis or vice versa. So it's called fellatio. So did you let the officer know that that he had engaged in fellatio on you?
I don't remember.
How long ago did you do your interview with the officer?
October, November.
So just this past October is when you gave your interview.
Really can't remember what they're saying.
Well, wouldn't it have been pretty important to tell the officer at that time if Zach had been performing fellatio on you?
Yeah, but I was ashamed of my story.
Are you married now or anything? What is your current, if I can get it, your Snapchat user ID?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't look at it every day.
What about your email?
My email. COL.
No, hold it.
No, if you could write it down.
You can write that down. I'm not gonna have it broadcast everywhere afterwards.
Yeah. Going into Snapchat and your email. You said that is that how you normally would communicate through text messages through Snapchat?
What's that? Yes.
How about on regular telephone line?
Phone calls, yes.
Phone calls, but what about texting by phone also?
It's usually on Snapchat.
Have you ever sent any videos To him?
Yeah.
To him personally?
Yeah.
Okay. Has he ever sent any to you? Did you provide any copies of any videos that were either sent by you or sent by him?
No.
You know, confirm, Your Honor. Did you have a girlfriend named Maddie? Did you ever have a conversation with her about spreading lies about your relationship with Zach?
Um,
Will you be able to provide your phone number as well on that piece of paper that you're gonna write your email down on? The last thing I want to touch upon is there was some kind of payment that you said that Zach gave you. Where'd that come from? What was it for? Okay. And you said that you sent it to where? Where did you send it to?
It's not that.
His personal Snapchat?
Yes.
And what was that? Do you recall?
Zachary, right, with something along those
Do you
lines.
do you still have those images on your phone?
No.
And how long ago was that? What was it, a year ago? 2 years? 3 years ago?
I was 18, I'm 23, so I,
So it was after you were an adult, you were sending videos. Okay. And you're saying that you sent videos and he was sending you money for videos that you were sending to him? And how did you get those payments?
could catch up.
All right. And were they labeled with anything? How many times did he pay you? How much money did you get? Does Cash App have records?
I think so, yeah.
Are you able to look at it?
Yeah.
Do you have your app on you now, your phone?
Do.
Can you look at it and tell us?
I like to do that.
It's Coral out.
You have your phone.
It's in my pocket, yes, sir.
If you can find it quickly, go ahead and do it. Sorry,
It's still open, I don't have the greatest service.
you don't have service.
No, it's
That's why. So you can't do it right here from here.
How long did you know Michael Sizemore?
the same amount of things that
So you met him at the same time? All right, and Michael Sizemore, was there two beds in that basement?
Yeah.
All right, and Michael was never there when you said that you were there, and you said sometimes that his mom and dad would be there.
Yeah.
And did you talk to them when you would get to the house?
Yeah.
Did you get fed while you were there? And give me a time frame, like how long would you stay there? How long would you be there? Hours? Minutes?
Hours. Sometimes a day or two.
Spending the night?
Yes.
And where would you spend the night at?
It's actually.
Okay, and where would you sleep?
It's been
All right, and you were 13 at the time?
12 and 13.
And your mom was allowing you to spend the night at a grown man's house?
Yeah.
Or was he younger than that?
Definitely a man.
All right, but, and you're sure about the age difference?
100%.
Redirect.
Couple of follow-up questions, if you're okay. You said that Zach called you when the news broke of all of this last fall. What did he say to you?
He told me that Weston was about to say something about the Japanese videos and that he was going to go there for a week.
And he was going to Virginia for a week? Okay. Did he tell you to say or not say anything
He told me not to say anything if anybody asked.
about the videos or something else
Just everything.
that went on between the two of you? And did he tell you why he didn't want you to say anything?
He didn't tell me no.
Okay. And what was your response?
I said, okay.
And how were you feeling at that time?
I was scared. I didn't really know how everything was going to play out. And then I started to feel kind of ashamed that I wasn't saying anything.
Did Zach ever make you feel like you would be in trouble for the things he did to you when you were a child? And you said you were in 7th or 8th grade. This started in 2014? Okay. And so your birthday is December 20th, 2001. Is that correct? So in 2014, you would have turned 13.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so that year, is that when it started before you turned 13, the bets and the oral penetration? Okay. And it continued until 2016? You said 2015 or 2016? And in 2016, you would have turned 15 in December, is that correct? Okay. So these penetrations occurred when you were 12, they occurred when you were 13, 14, 15, and they eventually stopped? I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
You may sit down. Thank you.
People would call me in.
Mr. Richard, how many additional witnesses do you, Supervisor, for scheduling purposes, how many additional witnesses are you anticipating?
So I have. Six more witnesses.
Including the one that's coming now.
And that includes the OIC. So five more victims and the OIC.
Got it.
Actually, I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna call Jake. Just, do you think we'll go? Like, how late do you think we'll go? I just.
Well, that's what I'm trying to anticipate, is my preference, if there seems to be some objection to going late, this court will go late. But once I conclude, I don't know if the parties are available to come back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Because I'm ready to get this or to continue on and get it done.
If we don't finish tonight, I could come back at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We'd have to check with the witnesses and the victims.
I have court in the morning in Grand Rapids, but I mean, hopefully I can get in and out. You know, it's a 2.5 hour drive. For me, so that's fine, but I just, gotta make sure I can, can make it.
I'm available for tomorrow, 1 o'clock.
All right. Well, it would seem to me that, well, let's get this witness and then we'll work on.
Okay.
Did you say you were changing which?
I'm changing to Jake.
Okay. Margolis, I didn't see your client show up, did I?
Sparrow is here, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I thought I saw her. All right, well, I've got to get through this witness and get you in as soon as we can, all right? Is it coming down the hallway? They're coming from another city.
Well, I switched victims, so they're, actually have to go back. She had to go back.
Oh, she had to go
She
back.
started with Ian and had to go back and get Jake.
So, okay,
And my courier went this way,
got it. It's your fault.
down to the other end of the.
Okay.
Oh, she can't get in. Her badge won't let her in.
No, isn't,
Oh, there's not to open the door?
there shouldn't be to open the door
Oh, to get out.
to go this way. It's-
Okay. They're there.
Right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? See? State, spell your first name only for the record.
Jacob, Jacob.
You may inquire.
Hi, Jacob. My name is Amy Reiser. I'm the Assistant Prosecuting Attorney handling the case. And we met last week. I have a series of questions that I'm going to ask you. And if there's anything that you don't understand, just stop and I'll restate the question, okay? And if you need to take a break, we can do that too. If you need to get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, anything like that, we can do that. There's a microphone in front of you. It doesn't record, I mean, so it doesn't amplify, but it does record what you're saying. And so sometimes I think we get nervous when we testify and we might shake our head yes or no. But if you can, try to give us a verbal response, okay? You're doing good so far. When I'm done asking you questions, the attorney for the defendant will ask you questions, and the same rules apply. And if you need a break in between, we can do that too. Okay. How are you doing today? Nervous? Okay. Take a deep breath. Can you tell the judge how old you are? And which October 25th, 2000. Did you always have to celebrate Halloween with your birthday?
Yes.
Okay. You graduated high school?
Yes.
In what year?
2009.
And any siblings, brothers, sisters?
One sister.
All younger.
Excuse me, Ms. Reiser. One of the things we didn't do is the last witness testified needed to supply in writing an email address and phone number. Could we make sure to get that? So, go ahead, Ms. Reiser.
Thank you.
My apologies.
So you're the oldest of how many siblings? Three, okay. And where did you grow up? Like what city? Okay. And did you go to church growing up? And where'd you go to church? Baptist Church in Saline? Okay. And do you remember like what age you started going there? 5 years old? Okay. And with your mom and dad? Okay. And your siblings when they were born? Okay. And as a part of going to the Oakwood Baptist Church, were you familiar with Zachary Radcliffe? And the person that you know is Zachary Radcliffe, do you see him in the courtroom today? And can you tell the judge what color he's wearing? Okay. The record could reflect he's identified the defendant.
That objection record shall so reflect.
And what was Zachary's role in the church?
He been involved in like, the band worship.
Okay. And did you have contact with him outside of church? How did that start? Okay. And do you remember how like you exchanged Snapchat with him or how you got it? Can you tell me about that?
Usually when it's not like recognize people, but initials, but so it was
Okay. And did you have a phone or an electronic device? Okay. And how old were you? And so did it recommend that you friend him, or is that how that works on Snapchat? Okay, so you became friends on Snapchat. And did you talk to him in church too? Okay, and how did you view Zach? Was he like a friend or?
and he was really popular in the church. Everybody knew him, like kind of looked up to him as like a cool person in the church.
You respected him?
Yes.
And so you're 14, you got an iPod, you're communicating with him on the iPod or? And were you in, what grade were you in? And was it like a normal conversation? Did it start out normal? Okay. And at some point, did it go kind of beyond normal conversation? And can you tell Judge Simpson what happened?
Had abs at the time. Like
When you say abs, like you mean abdominal muscles? Okay.
it's that picture I was
And what did he say?
saying, you just showing off your muscles or. Yeah.
Okay. And what's kind of the next thing that was sort of out of the ordinary conversation that happened?
Kind of went into asking me if I knew what it was and referred to it as a bro job.
Bro, like BRO job. He asked if you knew what that was. And again, you're 14. Yes. And did you answer him? Okay, what'd you tell him?
Said that I a term that I assumed he was talking about a bro job.
Okay, a blowjob, BLOWJOB. Okay. And then what's the next thing that happened?
Started talking about possibly meeting up at some point. I was having trouble with my parents and I just wanted to go out and try to escape from that. And he's there for me at the time. He,
Okay. And were you sharing with him the problems you were having with your parents? Okay. And so how was he kind of responding to that?
he was very empathetic towards me, kind of making it seem like that I could tell him anything. And that he was a safe space for me.
Okay. And so did he come and pick you up? And what time of the night was it?
Exact time, but it 3 o'clock.
Okay. Everyone in your house was asleep, I'm assuming? Okay. And so how did he notify you he was there on your iPod? Okay. And then was he in his car? He had a car. Do you remember what kind of car he had?
Time that I know it's a day.
Okay. And so what did you do?
Come to my house, parked right in front of my house a little ways. And I got in the car. I started talking about things that were going on with my parents because I was constantly getting in trouble. I didn't know that we were gonna do anything physical, like a bro job or blow job. I thought it was just gonna be us. Escaping from what I had.
Okay. And so what happened when you got in his car?
So received, started talking, brought up the bro job, asked me if I had ever received one. And I told him no. He asked if I wanted to receive one.
And what did you respond?
I was hesitant at first. That moment, I kind of froze. I didn't know what to do, so I just ended up saying yes.
Okay. And you were 14. And so what did he do?
Right here on the left thigh. Pulling my shorts down. Kind of just didn't talk. And
On your penis with his mouth? Okay. And what happened when he was done?
ejaculating in his mouth. Still frozen.
You were frozen in shock? Okay.
And I pulled my pants up and I had asked to go inside because there's nothing else to do.
You asked him if you could go inside? Yeah, okay. Felt like you had to ask for his permission. Okay. And what did he say?
It's fine with that. Go inside.
Were you scared?
But
Okay. Did you ever tell anyone that night what happened? Okay. How were you feeling after that happened?
so many emotions. I've heard what a blowjob was, but I had never received one, so I honestly couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was feeling. I was very nervous and anxious.
Okay. And did you see him after that?
Yes, the next morning at church.
Okay. And how was that?
Uncomfortable. Didn't approach me or anything, so. Maybe,
Did he tell you anything about your Snapchat conversation that night?
told me to delete everything.
The conversation that you had with him?
Yes.
And why? Did he say why?
secret.
Okay. And so, do you remember, was that like, that was during the summer? Was it that in the fall? Okay, of 2014. Okay, so you would have turned 14 that October. So you would have been 13. Okay. And so, did you continue after that to communicate with them in a normal fashion on Snapchat?
At first, no, but then I kind of pushed it off. At church. Pretended that it didn't happen. I just went on.
Okay. Did you not want to go to church anymore? And did anything like that ever happen with him again? And when was that? So the summer of 2015?
Correct.
Okay, so you would have been 14. Okay. What happened then?
I'm still having problems with my parents because I was always getting in trouble from the first time. It's just a normal thing that people do. So he ended up coming over again at night to pick me up because I was on a drive or listen to music and maybe go get some food. It's a safe space.
Okay. So he picked you up again from your house and was it in the middle of the night or? Okay. And still driving the same sedan? And did you drive anywhere and get food or? Okay. Where did you go? Did you stay on your street in your neighborhood? Okay. And where is that? Okay. Is that part of the church?
That's where the church
Is. Oh, oh, got it. Okay. And so did you go into the building, stay in the parking lot or something else? And listen, what did you do?
First, I just talked about things that were going on with my parents. Girl again, made it seem like I could talk about anything. And he proceeded to bring up that this thing around. Yeah, I've ever given one. No,
Okay. Up to this point, Jake, had you done any sexual acts? Were you ever?
that's
So you told him no, that you had never given, is he calling it a blow job or a bro job or something else? Okay, so you told him no. And then what happened?
to ask me if I give him.
And did you respond?
First, no, but honestly, I kind of felt the same way. First time.
And so did he take his shorts down? Or shorts or pants or what was he wearing? Do you remember? Okay. And did he tell you what to do or did you just do it?
Kind of had an idea what we were supposed to do, but
And then what?
Start giving him a job. And proceeded to do that.
Put your mouth onto his penis. Okay. And then what happened? Yeah, of course, of course. Do you need a minute? Sure. When you had your mouth on his penis, what, if anything, was he doing?
I started sucking. And I tried to pull back, but he had pushed his hand on my neck, holding my head down.
Okay. And then what happened? Okay. While he was holding your head down? And what happened after that?
That's what he was. Basically, I mean, I was more so dry heaving. It came up, but
Did he say anything to you?
he asked if I was okay, but the rest of the car ride home was silent.
Were you okay? How were you feeling at that moment?
And it was,
Did you ask him to take you home? Okay. And what happened when you got home?
I was thinking about the first time as well. I had to see him at church the next day.
You had to go to church the next day. Did he say anything to you? How did you feel when you saw him? Did he ever talk about it being your cute little secret again? And was that in person, on Snapchat, or something else?
It's on Snapchat.
What would he say?
I don't remember exactly, but I know it was just our little secret. I won't tell anybody if you don't know.
Did you continue to communicate with him on Snapchat?
I still kept it on Snapchat. I didn't really talk about that. I'm still having trouble with my hair. It's offered me dollars to send him a day, which I proceeded to do.
And when did you do that?
I don't remember exactly when, but it was shortly after that. So,
Shortly after the summer of 2015. Um, so you would have been 14 years old or 15 years old? 15. And how did he send you the $20 for the picture of your penis? In person? Okay. And what did he say? Anything? And did you send the picture of your penis over Snap or something else? Okay. And did any thing, pardon me, excuse me, anything happen after that? Any other encounters in the car or anywhere else? Okay. And did he ever ask you for any other videos or pictures? And the location outside your residence when he parked his car the first time it happened, is that in Saline, in Washtenaw County? And how are you doing with all of this now? How are you feeling?
It's not easy because it happened so long ago. 24 now. It's not fun, but I'm here for the right reason. I want to put an end to this. It's not fair to me or anybody else. And not only do I want justice for myself, but I want justice for everybody else.
And when all of this came out, Jake, did the defendant reach out to you by message or by phone to say anything? And you eventually told your parents? When did you tell them?
All this.
When everything came public? Okay. Well, thank you. I don't have any other questions for you. I thank you for coming forward, and the defense attorney is going to ask you some questions. Do you want to take a break, or are you okay to keep going? Okay, thank you.
Cross-examination.
Jake, I want to start with the car. What kind of sedan did he drive? So you were 13, you said, right? And he would have been how old? Do you know? Do you know how much older he is than you? When did you first meet him? How old were you? All right. And when you were 4 or 5, do you remember him being a kid also? All right. Did you grow up in the church where he was at? All right. So were you consistently going on Sundays? All right. And were you part of like a youth group or whatever that was there? And was Zach part of that youth group? He was not in the youth group?
Oh, he was probably in the youth group, but not in the same age.
All right. But did you have a youth pastor there?
Yes.
All right. And as far as your time in the church, how long did you stay in the church? Till you were 18?
So I was 17. So.
All right. All right. Were you ever part of the band or anything like that in the church? Are you friends with anybody else that's in the band?
No.
Were you friends with Ian? Ian? Is Ian in the band?
At the time, I believe so.
You ever taken drama and acting classes? Have you ever taken drama and acting classes?
Yes.
And for how long?
All 4 years of high school.
All right. And are you still involved with that? No college or doing anything with that? When you said that Zach would pick you up or get you in the sedan, was this something that happened a lot, or was it just the one time each time that you just testified about?
Just once, those 2 times.
All right. So when you said he picked you up, where did he pick you up from?
My house.
And your parents were all right with you getting in a car with him?
No, they were sleeping, so I snuck out.
What time would it have been?
I don't know the exact time, but 2, 3 a.m.
So 2 or 3 a.m. you were able to sneak out of your house and get in the car with him.
Yes.
And the second time that happened, same thing, you snuck out of the house. And no other time have you ever been with Zach in his car or anywhere else? Never went to the store with him? Never went to a mall? Never went to a restaurant? You ever been with him with another friend hanging out? The only two times that you've ever hung out with him are the two times that you're testified to that there was, do you know what the word fellatio means? It's another word for penis sucking. So it's fellatio is just a nicer way of saying it. So have you, other than these two times that you engaged in fellatio against each other that you're alleging, have you ever had any time with him? No one-on-one time anywhere else? And you said that you first started engaging with him on Snapchat when you were 13? And would his name have been on your Snapchat from church, or how did his name get on your Snapchat? Well, I mean, if you pulled your Snapchat, I don't have a Snapchat account, but let's say I had a Snapchat account and you pulled up and you put my name in there, would I pull up, or would you have to know what my name is to do that?
His name was suggested as a friend.
Okay, so did you friend him when you saw his name pop up on your Snapchat?
He friended me first.
Okay, so he friended you first, and then you guys snapped back and forth with each other. And when you were snapping back and forth with each other, it was based on what? Hello, how are you? What's going on? What else?
That's about it. I said before, he had asked me if I could send something for the house.
Okay, but does he know you from church to ask you for a picture of your abs? Does he know you from church well enough to ask you for a picture of your abs? I mean, you went from saying hello to, hey, can I get a picture of your abs?
There wasn't much else. Besides
Do you have any of that saved? Anything on your Snapchat saved? Did the officer or trooper that was investigating this, did he ask for your phone or for any images or for anything off your phone that you may have had?
asked, but I don't have any saved.
You've sent pictures, you said, right? None of those are saved either? You've never saved any of your pictures from the past?
No, he would ask me to delete them. So I did.
So the two different nights that, and I want to go back and just touch on this. So the second encounter where it was alleged by you that you performed fellatio on him. What was the time between the first encounter and the second encounter?
About a year.
So a year had lapsed? And between those two time periods, there was no discussion whatsoever with Zach. Nothing on Snapchat, just randomly came out of the blue and said, hey, meet up with me in my car.
I mean, between those two times, there have been conversations of like checking in on me, asking what I'm doing.
Well, you said you were having problems with your parents at home, right? Were you still having, all through that year, were you still having problems? Okay, and were you staying at home? Were you going somewhere else? Did you stay at friends' houses or did you ask for other people for help?
No.
And was it a bad relationship with your parents? I mean, was it your parents that were belittling you or calling you a liar, things like that?
Pretty minimal, so I was always getting grounded or in trouble for literally anything.
You were getting in trouble for almost anything.
You know,
Were you sneaking out of the house,
not doing chores or
doing drugs?
no.
So you weren't doing any drugs as a teenager? No drinking? So you said you were wearing shorts the times that you had the encounters with Zach, right? So it would have been warm enough to wear shorts both times. So that's why you think it was a year apart, because it was about the same time of the year both times. And you were wearing shorts both times. What about him? Was he wearing shorts? Well, he had to pull his pants down at some point, right? Well, did he pull him down or did you pull him down? If this happened? Second time. Okay. You're saying he pulled his pants down while you're on the roadway somewhere? Okay, when you were parked, where were you parked at? Okay, and where is that, near a main road? Where's it at? What are the crossroads, you know?
Objection, asked and answered.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear. Do
Over. I'll let her answer.
you know what the crossroads are from where you were at? Crossroads? Do you know what the crossroads are where you were parked?
You just said it was Michigan and Moon.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. All right, so you were sitting at Michigan and Moon in a parking lot. How big is the parking lot?
Pretty decently sized, not big, not too small.
All right, is there other cars in the parking lot this time of night?
No.
Is there lights on in the parking lot? Okay, and were you guys parked under lights?
There was a light.
All right, is this another church?
Private Christian school.
So it's actually a school.
Yes.
And do you know there's video cameras at that school?
I don't know.
What about neighbors across the street or anybody like that that would be nearby? Or are there cars going by? Is it in a rural area or is it in an urban area?
Pretty cool.
So it's not in the neighborhood.
No.
So what would be across the street? Were you parked facing away from the school or facing toward the school?
Facing towards the school.
Okay, so if you're facing towards the school, what would be directly to your rear? What would be directly to the rear of the vehicle? I understand the parking lot, but I mean, what would be like the next closest building behind you?
Soccer field.
Okay. All right, so you're in a big area of the school area where it's got a soccer field and a parking lot.
Yes.
And you guys were out there at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And then when you finish at 2 or 3 o'clock, whatever time it was, does Zach drive you right back to your house?
Yes.
And you go and sneak back in your house? So you went from there straight back home.
Yes.
And then the next time that you alleged it happened, you went straight from there, same place?
That was the last time.
Okay, what about the first time?
First time was in front of my house.
Right in front of your house?
Yes.
Okay. So he basically came over to your house, sat in the roadway, and whatever happened in the car between you and him, and then you just got out and went back in the house. And that was also at 2 or 3 in the morning. You have an alarm on your house? Do you know if Zach is circumcised or not? He's not circumcised?
Circumcised would be cut, I think.
Has he cut or not? Yes, what?
Yes.
Yes, he is what? Okay. I mean, second confirm. I'm just gonna go through a list of people to see if you know them or not. Do you know who Maxwell is? How long have you known Maxwell?
Oh, 12 years old.
Since you were 12, so about 12 years. What about Holly?
Yes,
How long have you known her?
like 10.
So about 14 years. How about Noah? Don't know him at all? Never met him? About Isaiah? Never met him? How about Brianna?
Church, yes.
How long have you known her?
maybe 2 years.
How about KJ?
Yes.
How long have you known him? Okay, how old is he? Approximately.
I don't.
Is he an adult?
I don't think so.
Okay. What about KJ's dad?
Yes.
How long have you known him?
Like,
Okay. Do you know why KJ's dad's no longer the youth leader at the church? No idea. Were you involved in any of the information that might have led to him being removed from the church?
no.
Did you recognize KJ as the youth leader of the church? Who was the youth leader then?
I don't.
Did you go to youth group there? But you don't know who the youth?
Oh, when I was there, yeah, Aaron Mosley.
Okay. How long was he there?
How many years would I say? 6 to 7 years, maybe.
Going back to the pic that you said that you sent, that you got $20 for, did you take that on your phone or through Snapchat?
He gave it to me in cash.
No, the pic. Did you take the pic on your phone or did you take it through Snapchat?
Snapchat.
No, the $20, let's talk about that. The $20 bill, when did you get that? Like how soon after your episode did you get that?
Church the next day.
So
Like,
these,
not the next day, but just at church in general.
so the next day at church in cash, like he just walked up to you and handed you a $20 bill?
It wasn't the day after the second incident. It was after I had turned 15.
Okay, with the picture. So you don't remember where that would have been?
It was at National Christian Camp.
The same place? What does that have to do with the church? Anything at all? Or are they separate? Are they separate from the church? I don't know. I'm asking the question with, is it related to the church? The Washtenaw Christian Academy or whatever you're calling it?
So that's where Oakwood was holding their services.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm asking.
Well, you said it already. Like,
What? No, Oakwood Church, and I did not ever, I never asked him that question, so I didn't
well,
know.
you didn't ask him, but he said what it said.
So you said that you got the $20 bill there at church on a Sunday.
Yes.
So both of these events, since you said you went to church the next day, both happened on a Saturday allegedly, right?
Yes.
Do you know what your Snap username is? If you would be able to write it down for me? Your email and phone number during that time period, if you know it?
I changed it since.
Do you recall what it was back then? Would you be able to, Your Honor, would you be able to get him to write that down for us?
You don't know what it was back then?
Yeah, he does.
I do.
You? Okay, yeah, we can write it down. We'll get it.
For one more time.
Just so that we're clear, not your new ones, young man. Not, just so that we're clear, not your new ones, but the ones from that period, yes. Why don't I give this to you so you can start on that process? You didn't even know.
I'm going to ask you one more question, Jake. Do you know who Melissa was? Was the youth pastor's wife? Do you recall making up a story with Ian and Brianna? Brianna to talk about seductive pictures that the wife was doing to get her husband fired? Did you ever call Zach and tell him that you were part of that? Nothing from.
Any redirect?
No.
Okay, you're all set, young man. If you've written all that down, have you written it down yet or no? Huh? Yeah, okay. Why don't you give that to my bailiff and then you are excused. Have you been able to check with your witnesses yet or
I'm gonna do that right now. So you're thinking Tuesday at 1 o'clock
thinking Tuesday at 1 o'clock?
tomorrow? 1 o'clock.
Or
Yeah.
Or Tuesday.
You're gonna go down and check? All right. Trying to get down back. I could have done that one here. Gotta bring him. All right, why don't we take it back? Court's gonna say the brief recess. And then I'll come back up. You know, the other ones, if you got a copy, if you can give a copy, really? So if you can give a copy to Ann, and then the court needs a copy, you guys need, is that the court?
Yes, sir. May I approach?
Jake, keep a copy for us too, and a photo.
I'll get the copies.
I gave a copy.
I've got one already.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just let me snap it quick. May be seated. Court is in a brief reset.
All rise. 14A District Court of the County of Washington, State of Michigan is now back in session. The Honorable Judge Cedric Simpson presides.
You may be seated. One thing that we're checking, the defendant is not present. I don't know if he needs to be brought out if we're just arranging time.
I don't believe so, but if you can leave him in the holding cell so we can speak to him after this moment.
Okay, yes.
We are good, Your Honor, on the people side for 1 p.m. tomorrow.
All right. Then that's what time I'm going to set it.
I
What-
have 2 victims that are in work, that have work and get out and I'm here, but I also have 2 victims that will be here at 1 o'clock, so I will.
Got it. So we can begin and then
Might
the
be
others.
like a 10 or 15.
All right, very good.
And Your Honor, just to let you know, I am driving back to VR tonight, so I have court in the morning, but she'll be here.
I will be here at 1 o'clock.
But it's
All right.
okay to start if I'm not here, but I should be here.
All right, very good. All right. And then we will adjourn to tomorrow, the 25th at 1 o'clock. Thank you, folks. So I don't know who left the first last time, but I think you folks are they all going toward that jury room?
Yes, yeah.
So let them leave first, let them get down the hallway, and then this side can leave. Yeah, I know, but I think they got 2 times in a row, so we're even. And
No, you didn't.
Sorry.
Give it all to me.
right, okay. I don't know. That is important. These are not so much. Oh, these are just.
That was your note.
Yes, bond was continued on that last matter. Do they have the other guy, Caleb? He's up.
Yes.
You're gonna bring him out. The court does call the case of the closed state of Michigan versus Caleb Ricardo Smith.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Raymond Cook for the people. Good afternoon, Judge Lawrence H. Margolis, on behalf of Mr. Smith, who is in custody.
Yes. They're having him brought out now.
I had a very nice meet you.
Super stuff.
Your Honor,
Hold on. Fire.
my buddy.
Oh, here's some more stuff. Yeah, I don't think I do anything with it now. That's.
Do you want me to talk?
Yeah. All right. Set this hearing, and the defendant is present. I set this hearing after the court finding a bond violation and had revoked the defendant's bond. I set this hearing giving an opportunity for reconsideration of that bond issue.
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, I'm in the courtroom today with my client's mother, Nicole Barrow, his brother, Uncle Gino's in the courtroom, as well as Gino Jr., as well as Raymond Spears.
Okay, you just gave me 3. I have no idea who that Gino
Yeah, yeah.
is.
Gino, sorry, Reno. And Raymond Spears is his old football coach. They're all here in support of young Mr. Smith. Your Honor, we were here last Thursday and it was a PCC, Your Honor, requested, asked the people requested to amend the bond and change it from a PR bond. We discussed it a little bit, and then Your Honor asked Mr. Smith whether he had been using marijuana, and he honestly said that he was, and Your Honor revoked his bond. We're here today.
Well, it was kind of like that. I asked him, would he pass a drug test?
Correct. Thank you, Judge. To remind the court, this is young Mr. Smith's first criminal charges lifetime. He has a perfect record at school. He was on his way to 4.0 grades until last semester when his grades declined. It is no coincidence that he has now that's when his problems with the law began. He was not attending his duties at school. He was sort of hanging out with the wrong crowd, not to justify or offer an excuse, but here we are today. It was charged originally, this case that is in front of us was charged in juvenile court. He spent 4 days in custody. After that, he was released from custody. We went in front of the juvenile court judge and the case was dismissed, and then he was charged in adult court. The charges are very serious. I can approach and we can discuss a little bit about the biggest charge if Your Honor would like to hear. I believe he has there are compelling defenses to that. The short of it is we're seeking to have him placed back on his house arrest tether, so he can go to school, so he can go to church, so he can do the right thing and be around his family and have the support of his family and handle these cases on all fours. He is presumed innocent. This is a good young man. I have faith in this young man, and I'm here for the duration.
Anything from the people?
Your Honor, people already stated their position on Thursday. The only thing that I have to add from that previous argument is that I do have some concerns being released under the same or similar conditions as before of the GPS tether with allowances for church and school. I believe the defendant stated at the last hearing that he got the marijuana from school. And so I'm concerned about releasing him and then putting him back in the same environment where he got the marijuana that led to this violation in the first place. Thank you.
I would just suggest the court may, if Your Honor was inclined to reconsider, may institute a testing regimen would be something this young man should be responsible to and could handle.
Well, and I appreciate what the people are saying. The other issue in this one that plagued me since I put him in, and those of you that know me know that it would, and that is that if he stays incarcerated, maybe that might be the right decision for most. What I then know is he doesn't graduate. And then at the end of it all, I don't know what we have. That's the bottom line to it. Young man, what? So when you spent the 4 days before, that was in a juvenile facility?
No, it was here in a holding cell.
They didn't, for some reason, they weren't able to hold him in the juvenile facility, Judge.
So what have you been thinking about?
Like recently,
Well, you got locked up on Thursday. Now, unless your mind shut down, what have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking about first how right you were, and that I did learn my lesson, and that my actions do have consequences, and then this is a very serious matter, and that I do not want to be here, and not, it's more like this place shows me that I'm not like supposed to be here, and that
What you were telling me earlier today.
And that I've been thinking about, going to school. I've been thinking about graduating to go to college. I've been thinking about my relationship with God, and that how I can become a better person, and that sorry, Your Honor. And pretty much like how I can improve myself as a better person. And that's what I've been practicing while I've been there. And so I can, when I'm out, I can become a better person, to show you not with just my words, but with my actions.
Why are your grades slipping?
Well,
Because see, here's the thing. If I were to reinstate your bond, put you back out there,
Mhm.
problem's gonna be is that if you're failing out of school, my major motivation for even giving you that opportunity isn't there.
Your grades.
okay, yeah. Well, yeah. So, ever since I've been out, my grades has been improving. I have screenshots to prove that I have A pluses right now. My lowest grade right now is a C. I believe a C.
In what?
A C in 1 second, Your Honor. I'm trying to think. I have an A plus in accounting too. A C in a C in newspaper. It's a newspaper entertainment. I had to miss an assignment that I haven't turned in.
What should your grades be?
All A pluses, Your Honor. Or at least passing, or not at least passing, but A's and B's. But I'm shooting for all A's.
Then you shouldn't even be thinking, there shouldn't even be a C on any. Mom, anything you want to say?
Please step up.
You'll have to stay right there.
Thank you. I have time as a counseling, for Thrive Works in Ann Arbor for not just him, but for family. Also, I looked into him being into a mentorship program. Along with his football coach, started a program called Pathways Careers to Careers. And he said he'd be willing to mentor him along with his older brother who's starting U of M in the fall for software engineering, and his uncle. I got them in their lives, and then now I have more time off from work to be able to. They understand what's going on, to be able to get him back on the right track. And that's my goal. If I gotta monitor him, take him to school, be there. I got engaged with the teachers. They just assumed that he had been ill, so they've been allowing him to make up the work. His grades have come back up. They're all missing him. He's well liked in his whole school, principal, everybody, they've known him since elementary. When we came up here, he was in the 5th grade. And make sure that he's no contact with any of it. Kids that were grown.
Pardon?
The other kids grown. And I make sure that he's no contact with them now. Taking his phone. He doesn't have it. Have a new number. And I actually have it linked to my iCloud, so I'm able to view all of his activities through my cell phone.
You're hanging around a bunch of grown men. Maybe,
Yes.
right?
Mhm. It was a mistake.
So when you went to jail, did you feel grown? Because I can there's a whole lot of grown folks back there if that's what you want to be. You know something? Do you remember what I told you about respect on Thursday? Or did your head just shut off at some point?
No, I remember, Your Honor.
What did I tell you?
Tell me respect. It's like, oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, you told me to respect my mother, and that if I can't respect my mother or the court, then that's a problem. And I do remember, Your Honor. And I would like to say that I am like these 4 days, it may seem little, but it was a lot to me. And I really like had time to think about it and on respect and the lengths that my mother is going for me. And the least I can do is to respect her to my full extent.
You know what's funny? I mean, I hear you, and to the extent you can understand it, you understand it, but You're never, until you are one, gonna ever understand the sacrifice of a parent. You're just not, you're not gonna get it. Because I don't know if you slept while you were there, but she probably hasn't slept the moment I put you back there. You didn't see. I mean, she knows they're serious charges, but you did not see your mother's reaction when I said, and I'll admit I was kind of yelling at you that you're facing light. And I saw your mother's reaction. Because no matter what it is, no matter what's going on or anything, no matter how stupid you get, you're still her baby. If you can't respect her, and I told you this, I will. You need to respect the court orders. You need to respect your mother. You need to respect yourself. But I've been doing this a long time, and I figure somebody that can't respect their mother, probably shouldn't be out there walking around and doing anything. Man, you took time out. What were you talking about work?
My health isn't so good. I can't figure out, I've been on a child study once in a while. My lungs, I don't smoke or anything, they don't know. I've been seeing a pulmonologist and.
So you're just off. So right now you're off of work.
Yes. It's not because of him, it's my health, it's before that.
Yeah, but him doing what he's doing can't help.
But he's been clear to me, I've never had any issues about it. So this is why it's a shocker. All a shock, all of us. We all are shocked.
Your school on a 4-point schedule.
Sorry, I don't.
What's the highest grade point you can get? Is it 4 or 5 or 4?
I think 4.0. 4.0 is the highest you can get.
It is over the objection of the people. I'm not going to put a cash component on it at this point. I'm going to reinstate this previous bond with conditions that I'm going to, you're to test 3 times per week. Anything show up in your system, young man, you're going back. I'm not having a bond here. I'm just going to revoke. You are also, to work your way, I want to see a 3.5 grade point average or above. Hear me?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
So if this case is still before me and as you approach graduation and you're not near that 3.5, you know where you're gonna go? Right back, because what that just tells me is you're not applying yourself. Is there anything you're unclear about?
No, Your
You understand very clearly, I hope, that this is not a game.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
All right, to the extent you think it's a game, you don't want to play that with me. We clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Probable cause conference, March 6th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, folks.
Good luck.
Welcome.
You got a chance.